All right, in this example, we want to get rid of this sign, which is covering part of the building. Now, this would have been quite difficult to have done before, so we're going to grab our lasso tool, and with the lasso, I'm going to make a selection around that area. Let me just hit the Shift key. I want to add to there, make sure we get that ladder. There we go. Great. Now, had I used Content Aware Fill, let me show you the result. I'm going to hit Shift Delete, and that would be Shift Backspace on Windows. Under Content, choose Content Aware, click OK. And you're going to get an OK result. Clearly, it's far from perfect. And you can see what's happening with this is it's sampling, like you can see part of the clock up here. And so it samples other pixels and just basically duplicates the pixels. So when we use Generative Fill, it doesn't duplicate the pixels in the image. It generates brand new pixels based on machine learning, what it's learned about buildings, what it looks in the surrounding areas, and it's going to literally know that this is a building. It knows this is a glass building. And why don't we hit Generative Fill? Now, when we go to choose the Generative Fill, I can enter a description of what I want to put in here. If I just want to replace something or remove something, don't enter anything, just hit Generate. And you'll see, the bars going across the bottom, and it's generating. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to build 3 different variations, and we're going to examine these variations in a moment and see, how well it's done. So when I look at this is really good. There's some weird stuff going on down here, but let's have a look at the second option. Okay, so it's a different kind of a look here, because if you look at the original, it doesn't know what's behind there, so it's guessing, right? And then we look at the third option, which is pretty good as well. I think I like the third option, but I'd like to put one of these in there. So how would I do this? Well, the first thing I want to do is get rid of this down the bottom here. So let me just select that. And we're just going to run the generate again just to kind of fix that. Notice that pops it on a new generated layer too. Every time you create, if you work on the same one and you regenerate, it works on the same layer. But if you create a different selection, it creates a new layer. Look at that. That's nice. So we've got that in a couple of hits, and it looks like we just want to add this now. So the way to do that is let's just create a new layer on top, and rather than messing around with Generative, we can combine it with the suite of tools that already exist inside of Photoshop. So why don't we grab our trusty clone stamp tool. We're going to sample all layers, and I know I want one of these, so I'm going to hold down the Alt or the Option key, and in fact, why don't we zoom in a little bit, and I'm going to select there, and I'm going to move it right to that edge, and we can just paint another one of these in. Now I'm going to go over, and I'll do that on purpose, because I don't need all the stuff around there. So at this point, all I need to do is grab the Polygon Lasso tool, and use whatever selection tool is going to be the best for whatever surface you're working on. Straight edges, the Polygon Lasso tool works really, really nicely. Let's go in there, select that edge, go up here. All right, I don't want to quite remove it yet, because if I look at the focus on the photograph, it's a little bit soft here. So I don't want that super hard edge. So I'm going to take the feather, and I'm going to change this to, I don't want to do the feather now because it's already applied. So we have to choose the selection, and we choose modify. So if you're going to feather it before you create the selection, hit feather. Otherwise, you're going to select, modify, and feather. And under here, I'm just going to give it, I don't know, just give it 2 pixels. Click OK. And now I can just literally hit in this area. I can just delete it. Control D turns off the selection, and look at that. Looking wonderful. All right, so that's how we remove things. So throughout this course, we're going to be using the Generative Fill, but we're also going to be using other tools inside of Photoshop to finish the job. Because, you can build a house with a hammer, but it's much better to also use a saw and use the right tool for the right job. So Generative Fill is a great tool to get us started. Many times it'll get us the whole way, and then other times you want to combine it with the other tools.